Fox 32 has information indicating the FBI has launched an investigation into controversial Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Dane Placco has been following allegations of her misspending and joins us now with an update. Dane.
Yeah, we've been reporting for nearly 2 years on allegations of corruption surrounding Henyard in her capacity as Dolton Mayor and Thornton Township Supervisor. And now we've learned from multiple sources that federal agents are in fact interviewing witnesses as part of a possible investigation that may or may not result in charges.
We went to pick up the cake to offer to our seniors, and they told us, your card doesn't work.
And I stand in the fight because I want the boys and girls of the next generation to see what it looks like to come out of controversy and to come out of all the hatred unscathed. At the end of the day, God gives the test to his strongest soul.
Tiffany Henyard has been busted by the FBI for a massive wire fraud scheme, and it's even worse than expected. So how did it all come crashing down? Henyard, a small-town mayor, has been flaunting a lavish lifestyle, designer bags, luxury vacations, and $1 million security detail, all while Dolton's finances were in shambles. And that's just the beginning. The FBI has the evidence, and they're closing in on her.
To address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, there won't be anything, it'll just be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on. And
Tiffany Henyard's rise to power began after the sudden passing of longtime Mayor Frank Zuccarelli. She quickly positioned herself as Dolton's hero, making bold promises and ambitious plans. Initially, she was like a local celebrity, attending events, cutting ribbons, and making it clear she was in charge. At first, she seemed like exactly what Dolton needed, a fresh face with new ideas. However, cracks soon began to show in her administration. Henyard's leadership style became increasingly aggressive, especially towards anyone who questioned her. She was not interested in teamwork or transparency. She wanted full control and didn't hesitate to steamroll those in her way. This approach caused rifts within the town's government, leading to clashes with the village board and other officials. Moreover, the big promises she made required substantial funding, and Dolton's finances started to suffer. Henyard's spending spiraled out of control as she lived like a big city mayor rather than the leader of a small town. Reports emerged of her lavish lifestyle, including designer clothes, luxury vacations, and a police security detail that cost the town a staggering $1 million. She treated Dolton's budget as her personal piggy bank, indulging in extravagant purchases and reportedly spending thousands in a single day on Amazon for everything from fancy gadgets to gourmet food. Meanwhile, the town's basic needs were neglected. As Dolton's financial situation worsened, the contrast between Henyard's lifestyle and the town's struggles became increasingly apparent. The budget, which once had millions in reserve, was now in the red, with debts piling up. Residents noticed cuts in services, lagging maintenance, and a declining quality of life. The breaking point came when it was revealed that Dolton was over $3.5 million in debt, shocking the community and making it clear that this was not just poor budgeting, but serious financial mismanagement.
Tiffany Henyard, who is also the mayor in nearby Dolton, is part of multiple lawsuits and a federal investigation.
The FBI's investigation into Tiffany Henyard didn't just come out of nowhere. It started with whispers in the Dolton community about her extravagant spending habits. Her flashy lifestyle raised eyebrows. Flashy purchases and questionable budget choices were hard to ignore, even for a mayor. People began to wonder how she was funding it all, and whether it was legitimate. The situation hit a breaking point when Dolton's finances began crumbling under her spending spree. A town that was once financially stable was now facing a multi-million-dollar deficit, drawing the attention of outside authorities. The rumors about Henyard's spending were enough to get the feds interested, prompting them to dig into Dolton's financial records. What began as mere suspicion quickly turned into a full-scale investigation. The FBI issued 2 major subpoenas that shifted the landscape entirely. The first targeted Henyard's personal business dealings, aiming to uncover any overlap between her private ventures and her role as mayor, particularly any conflicts of interest or shady practices that influenced her decisions. The second subpoena focused on the township's financial records, looking for signs of mismanagement. This was significant because it indicated that the investigation extended beyond Henyard to the entire financial situation in Dolton during her leadership. Soon, the investigation broadened, evolving from a probe into Henyard's finances to a comprehensive examination of multiple officials and entities in Dolton. The FBI wasn't just focused on her, they were scrutinizing the entire administration, including other village officials and businesses associated with the town. This expansion suggested a potential network of corruption rather than just one person's mistakes. Things took an unexpected turn when former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot's name surfaced in the investigation. Known for her tough and sometimes controversial leadership, Lightfoot's involvement added another layer of intrigue to the already complex situation. While it wasn't initially clear how she was connected, her association drew even more attention. Some speculated that she might have had business ties with Henyard, while others thought she could be assisting with the investigation behind the scenes. Regardless, Lightfoot's involvement made the story even more explosive.
A couple of agents, and I explained them what was going on. I gave them all my paperwork to show them what was happening in court and what was happening in Dolton. And they told me they was investigating and they would be in touch with me.
The community reacted swiftly and passionately. Dolton residents who had once been impressed by Tiffany Henyard's promises were now furious over her spending and the financial mess she had created. Protests erupted, with people demanding answers. Village board meetings turned into heated debates, with residents and officials clashing over how to handle the growing scandal. Calls for Henyard's resignation grew louder, as many felt she had betrayed the trust of the people who elected her. The town was in chaos, and it seemed like everyone was picking sides. Amid the turmoil, Henyard tried to defend herself, claiming the FBI investigation was politically motivated and suggesting her opponents were simply trying to bring her down. She insisted the backlash wasn't due to any wrongdoing on her part, but was part of a smear campaign against her. She even portrayed herself as a victim, maintaining that she had done nothing wrong and that the investigation would clear her name. However, her attempts to shift the narrative did little to quell the anger and suspicion in the community. While Henyard tried to downplay the seriousness of Dolton's financial situation, arguing that the town's debt was being exaggerated and that her spending was necessary for the improvements she had promised, many residents weren't convinced. They had watched the town's finances deteriorate right before their eyes, and the evidence of mismanagement was too strong. Her explanation seemed like desperate attempts to save herself, and trust in her leadership was shattered. The calls for her to step down only grew louder as the investigation continued.
To get certain services, whether it was gift cards for a big bingo. Monday, the staff was not able to even buy ice cream for the...
As the FBI wrapped up their investigation, things didn't look good for Tiffany Henyard and her team. The report detailed a pattern of extravagant spending that was excessive for a small-town mayor. Instead of allocating funds for public services and infrastructure, she splurged on personal luxuries like designer clothes, fancy vacations, and an oversized security detail, all of which drained Dolton's resources and left the town struggling. It wasn't just her lavish lifestyle that raised eyebrows, though. It was also the manipulation of budgets and financial records to conceal her spending, suggesting serious corruption. The FBI's findings painted a bleak picture for Henyard's future. Misusing public funds is a serious offense, and the evidence against her was overwhelming. The investigation didn't just reveal financial mismanagement. It also pointed to potential fraud and violations of public trust. It wasn't just Henyard in hot water either. Her administration was marked by a culture of corruption, with several officials close to her under scrutiny for either being involved or turning a blind eye. The report suggested that criminal charges were likely not only for Henyard, but for others in her circle as well. Meanwhile, reactions poured in on social media. One commenter joked that Tiffany Henyard should be featured on a new episode of American Greed, while another compared her to a bad wife recklessly draining her husband's bank account without regard for her marriage or children. What do you think about this whole situation? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to check out our latest videos. Thanks for watching.